Ain't no denying we're gonna jet setters blue, and nothing left but the pride. We're ain't got nothing to lose. Got them jet setters blues. Got them jet setters blues. Don't get no loving except what we can buy. You know the living is easy, man. You know we're getting high. Got them jet setters blues. Got them jet setters blues. Don't have no worries, you know we're going for broke. And all of my problems, yeah, they all go up in smoke. Goddamn jet setters blues. Goddamn jet setters blues.
Hey, Jennifer.
You don't know me, but I'm yours.
Yes, I am. How are you tonight?
I was raised here in this living.
I sure am. Jordan should be up shortly.
You don't know my God in your world. Very soon
Hey, Sherry.
time will tell.
Welcome.
You telling me the things you
Yes, that's the one, Jennifer. Hey, Ray. What do you say?
Take this message to my brother.
There he is himself, Jordan. Hey, Jordan. I'll drop you the link, pal. Just give me a second here.
Are you telling me the things you're gonna do for me? I ain't got enough to work with you. Taking it to the street. No more people running.
should be the link to get you up here, Jordan.
Are you telling me the things you want to do for me? I am driving, I know I'm gonna
They're all good, Jennifer. Here, Jordan, reach out. Okay, so in case you didn't get the memo, we have a guest tonight joining us, and it's Jordan. And Jordan is the lead singer and guitarist from my band, our band, Mirror Moves. And let's invite Jordan up with. Ba, 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 ba. Actually, I should have. Here, I could have done this, Jordan.
Oh,
That would have been a little bit more appropriate.
I'm in E right now. I'm not in
Oh,
second.
yeah. All right.
Which-
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, perfect. Yeah, no echo. What a miracle.
Nice. We're in good shape tonight.
We're in good shape. A rare occurrence.
I don't know if you had a chance to study the beginning of, because we're doing Superstition as one of our songs, Jordan and I. And if you study the beginning of Superstition, it indeed starts out with the drums doing a few beats,
Mhm.
and then in comes the bass and the clavinet at the same time.
Hmm.
I think
I like the very subtle piano intro part where I know I'm in the wrong key, but it starts off as like that little
Yeah.
intro. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to do that last practice, and Eddie didn't like me for doing that.
you know what? It wouldn't sound bad if we all did that at the same time in the beginning either.
No. I mean, it'd be hard to time. I think we've got some bigger fish to fry other than that before.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I don't
Yeah.
know. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
But great song to play
Oh
too.
yeah.
Great song to
Yeah.
play.
Absolutely.
Amongst some of our other songs, Jordan and I are going to be participating, and it's going to be actually our first live gig together, and we're going to be doing a battle of the bands on April the 12th. I think it is, isn't it?
Yep.
And we're going to be doing 6 songs, and Superstition happens to be one of them. We were to pick 2 songs from the 70s, 2 songs from the 80s, and 2 songs from the 90s. And we chose 6, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, we just need a few more rehearsals.
Yeah, I can always use more rehearsals for sure.
And then
I'm not gonna say no to that.
I'm wondering too if we've been trying this live online jam that we haven't really played together band-wise on Jam Kabazam, but we cut some of the kinks out last time we were on, everybody together as a band.
I think it was successful, somewhat.
But we didn't bring it to the point where we were actually played a song.
You're probably right. Yeah.
I think that would be the next step to grind through
Mhm.
these songs that we're doing.
Yeah, loads of technical difficulties, but we made it through.
Yeah,
It was interesting playing online with people. I don't know if the people are listening are familiar with Jam Kazam. I certainly wasn't, but basically it allows you to play online in somewhat real time with kind of anyone anywhere around the world, and it's I was impressed by it. I didn't think that was possible to move information faster than light, but
yeah.
apparently you can do that.
To get the latency together so that you can play with someone. I was playing with some guys from the UK the other day.
It's wild. What a
Yeah,
world. What a world.
and they said it was pretty good on their end, and they were pretty good on my end.
Oh well, that's good. Yeah,
We
it's
didn't.
nice when technology works.
Yeah, no kidding. After all the
Yeah,
screwing around you have to do to get there.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, we got quite a few people here already. I think. Um, let me just put on my side chat. I think one of the um, things I'm looking forward to for this gig will be the. It should be turn out to be a pretty good sized crowd, um,
Mm.
being a fundraiser. So I missed that. I haven't played in front of anybody for it's been a couple of months now.
Hmm.
And how do you feel about playing in front of people, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, I it's a mixed relationship I have playing live. I think that I've only started playing in front of people, I don't know, within the last year. It's probably been a year now. Yeah, it's probably been a year. And I've been playing for a while, as you know, Mark. But yeah, it makes
Yep.
you feel like you've forgotten half of what you know, and then all of
Yeah.
your motor skills are gone and all that stuff. But it's something that I've gotten comfortable with. Um,
Where was the
and
first gig?
Well, the first time I ever played live, I almost don't really count this because I was so high on my own immature confidence that
Uh,
I was 18 playing in an Irish pub in Toronto on oh Lord, I can't remember what this. I can find the street name if you're actually interested, but it was an Irish pub in close to the beaches in Toronto, if anyone's familiar with that area.
I am.
And I was I I asked the bar owner. I think I called around and I said, "Would you guys be interested in live music?" And I went for an audition at one place called Linsmore Tavern, which is a pretty
Mhm.
popular place.
Yeah, I know the
And
list.
I played there, and they wanted me to play for the classic 3 hours, but I was playing by myself at 18 years old, and I was like, I don't have an hour of material, let alone 3 hours of material. But it paid
Right.
well, and I didn't end up having that much confidence to do that. So I played at another little Irish pub that basically gave me the freedom. He was like, show up by 8 or 9, and then um and then you can kind of leave whenever as long as you stay for about an hour and a half. And I'd made just tips, and that lasted about a summer and a half or something like that. And then I focused on school for a while, and then I revisited playing live. It would have been 12 years later, which brings us to um yeah, 8, 9, 10 months ago.
Ah, and
Yeah.
that was at, as you described it, the local dive by your place. Open mic. It would have been no.
That would have been a brewery. That would have been a Farm League Brewing in Cambridge, which you
Oh,
probably you know where it is. They hold an open mic every Tuesday, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll play around with this, and I started playing there every Tuesday, and then I played at the dive bar, and I realized how much more difficult playing alone was. All
yeah.
the eyes are on you and all that stuff, as opposed to playing in a group where you can be a little bit more free and ignore the fact that there's you know
You got a little support around you when you're playing
definitely
with
yeah.
guys, as opposed to just being up there by yourself. Every mistake you make is heard.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure that you can probably relate to that for sure as well.
Yeah, well, sometimes with the train wreck band, in between sets, I'll come up a little bit early
Mhm.
before the boys come up back on stage, and I'll play a little bit,
Hmm.
and I'll do some solo, and for the nerves mostly, and
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Oh,
I've been
that's really
making
good.
fun of people for
When
ever.
did you start playing live? What was it? What was your first live gig?
It would have been a recital when I was like 6,
Oh,
piano recitals, and then with various bands in
hmm.
school, and yeah, and then carried on through there. I realized I was a ham early on in life.
You're a ham.
A ham, yeah. I love to
Yeah.
make a spectacle out of myself,
Okay.
which didn't always, which landed me in hot water at certain times,
I'm
certain
sure. Yeah.
places in my
Yeah.
career. But that's another story. But I used to do some acting. I remember too in my younger days. So I just like to get out, and I think it's a matter of expressing, having the freedom to uh, all these people listening to you, and
Hmm.
having the freedom to do what you want with their attention for the next whatever amount of time you have. I like that feeling. I like to be able to fool around like that, if
Mm.
that makes sense.
I think that's exactly what terrifies me. Is that you've got the people listening to you, and it's their time, and I value their time, and I don't want to give them shit. So I put
Yeah,
extra pressure on myself. But
they're
yeah,
there to hear you though, so
yeah,
that they've come to hear you, so that let you be heard.
yeah.
But you're right,
Totally.
playing with a group of guys is a lot easier.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, confidence wise, it's a lot easier. So it's much harder timing wise, of course.
Yeah, you have
And
to
to make the music sound good and rehearsed, it's very difficult. But in terms of confidence, yeah, it's much easier.
I mean, there's uh, different levels you can have yourself rehearsed. I
Hmm.
mean, you can know a song and you can really know a song,
Yeah.
all the ins and outs. And obviously, like for this Battle of the Bands thing, by the time we do play, we'll have these songs pretty well rehearsed,
Hmm.
especially if we start playing the set beginning to end and timing it and all that.
Right.
And I think that we should be able to grill through it enough that we'll have these songs. It'll be, it just comes out of you naturally. And
Hmm.
if you're nervous or anything like that, just trust your instincts that you're going to do the right thing.
Yeah. I also think that going through general difficult times in life can put things into perspective. It can make playing in front of people that much easier, where you just
Ah,
stop caring. you know.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
At wit's end, you mean when you're,
in a way, and not so much of a depressing way of putting it, but like I just prefer to call it perspective. I guess. Yeah.
hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I I'll tell you about what happened to us. We closed out. We played at the local high school gymnasium back when we were like 18, 19. Actually, we were a little older, about 20, 21. And we closed the show with Freebird. The guy that was doing the lights for us was half-assed. He didn't know what he was doing. He rented all this expensive equipment that he didn't know how to run.
Oh
And
no.
by the end of the show, he had blown all the switches, and he was actually manually plugging the lights in and out to make them go off on the light panel. So we're at
That's fantastic.
picture. We're at Freebird. We're coming to that crescendo at
Oh
the
yeah.
climax of Freebird, where everybody's speeding up. The guitars are winding out. We're coming to the end of it, and everything's getting louder. And the next thing we know, we hear pop, 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 pop. Look up,
Oh,
and all the lights had blown one after another along the light boards.
oh no.
Gymnasium filled with smoke. The crowd cheered, thinking that it was part of the show.
Yeah.
The
Got some
guys,
pyrotechnics in
yeah,
a high school thing. That's hilarious.
until they realized that there was possibility of a fire and they started leaving.
Yeah, shut it down.
Actually, no, they stuck around and they applauded us. They
There you
thought
go.
it was part of the show right to the end, but it couldn't have happened at a better time.
Wow.
Perfect timing. He had popped all those lights at that right
I
at
know
the
what you
perfect
mean.
part of the show.
Yeah.
It,
Wow.
it was great.
Oh well, you'll be chasing that high for a long time, I guess. Maybe you've
Yeah,
already reached it, but
that was
it's nice. As I've
a
said
while
with
ago.
technology, it's nice when things work out.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
didn't work out for that guy that night. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. No, maybe not him, but you guys it did.
Yeah, it was a pretty good show, but I think it was the last show that high school put on rock shows. I think it
Yeah. I mean, how many things have to go wrong before you don't want to set someone on fire the following year?
that's right.
Hmm.
They had pictures of the what was that band that lit their venue on fire? The White, I think they were
I
called.
don't know. I don't know.
And,
You're more the history buff than I.
yeah, and few people, 7 or 8 people ended up dying in that fire.
Gee,
They were
that's
doing
not good.
pyrotechnics inside.
Mm,
The Great White, they were called, the Led Zeppelin copy band.
okay.
Um, they learned to. That changed. I think that actually changed some laws. That one.
Yeah, I would. I'd imagine it probably would. Yeah.
You
Well, you're full of information, Mark. Every time I talk to you, there's another story and there's another.
I'm never mind. I'm surprised I remember. I
Yeah.
forgot that I remember.
That's right. Oh
I,
man.
while we're talking about pyrotechnics, uh,
Hmm.
Jordan is a fireman by I
Yeah.
don't want to say by day and then a musician by night, but you are sorta.
Unfortunately, because of the shift, it's by day and by night.
Yeah,
um. Yeah, it's an interesting gig.
yeah, it must be. I got a million questions. I've been wanting to ask you. It just
Hmm.
every, every time we get together, it's about the rehearsal and the band.
Yeah, I know that
We
it's
don't
easy
get
to
it.
get talk about things at hand and then time slips away.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
like I spent a lot of time on the road and with my business,
Hmm.
and I was clocking like 7,000 kilometers a month at one point. So I
Yeah.
was first responder on quite a few accidents. First
Okay.
person to not really first responder, first person there,
Yep.
and I've seen my fair share of stupid stuff that's happened and helped out. And have you like I know it's the you're what's your title? You're a fireman, right?
Yeah.
You travel in the big red truck.
Yep. Yeah.
And,
It's different in each city. Sometimes you'll be assigned to certain trucks. So, uh, for example, like the first 6 months of this year, I'm assigned to what's called a pumper, which is your front running truck out of downtown, usually. In my case, and every city has something different, and other people will know them as ladder trucks or aerial devices or quints. Those are other trucks that have different types of functionality
right,
for
yeah, you
different
see those
environments. But
time to time.
yeah. So this first 6 months, I'm assigned to a pumper. Then after that, I'm probably still going to be on a pumper, but I'll probably be on a ladder truck for the last little bit of the year. They like to give you a break.
Right.
Um, because burnout is a real thing in the city that I work in. It's nonstop. Like it's nonstop, and then the types of calls that you go on to, depending on what you're predisposed to having trouble seeing or trouble dealing with,
As
it's
in,
unfortunately very difficult. But I mean, I
as
would
in,
rather do this than I think cops and paramedics have um, the way harder job,
yeah,
and I would never in a million years. Well, I don't know how they do it. Um,
yeah,
but
yeah.
so we definitely don't have it hard compared
Well,
to
I do
the
think
other
you
emergency
do. I
services.
beg to differ. I think all of you guys, I mean, you all have your functions and you serve them well. I mean, here in Ontario, we have some top notch departments as far as firemen, police, paramedics. The hospitals do what they can, and depending on where they are. I think we're quite fortunate, actually.
Yeah. I mean, there's always going to be issues. Like yesterday, it's there's always in every job. You know what I mean? Yesterday we had there's a call where a guy unfortunately passed away, and we got there, and which usually happens. The fire department will get there first. I have no idea why. It's just how it happens, and it seems to. And then medics will come in, like EMS or paramedics will come in, anywhere from usually, depending on the call. If it's something to do with a kid, they're pretty good. They get there like at the same time as us, if not a little bit before.
Right.
If it's something to do with like a more without sounding.
No, I know what you're going to get at
Without
here.
sounding unfeeling, more of a run of the mill, what we call a
heart
VSA, which is a
attack,
vital signs absence. No, not even that stuff. With if you have a very old person that's passed away,
Oh yeah.
there seems to be not for us. I can only speak for us, but there seems to be a little bit less urgency sometimes, which I don't
Right.
agree with, of course. And that's one of the biggest qualms that we have with the other professions in emergency services. But yeah, so what I was getting at is you're talking about the services themselves and how they're organized and all that. Like we had to wait for an EMS to come from Hamilton to Brantford, which obviously takes time. And so we're standing there, we're doing what we can and all that stuff, but we don't get the drugs. We can't get the epinephrine. We can't get potentially Narcan if it's a drug related death, or just an overdose where the person's still alive.
Yep.
And so it can be scary, right? Like if you saturate the hospitals, and if people think that my chest hurts or whatever, I'm getting shortness of breath, I'll call an ambulance because I'll get into the ER faster. You're not going to get into the ER faster. It's not how it works. You're just going to wait with a paramedic awkwardly in a hallway for the same amount of time that you could just be sitting in a seat, and you take up a medic truck for that time. Like that person has to wait with you. So there's a lot of stuff that I wish the public would know, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it myself, and I've spent a lot of time in hospital ERs.
Oh, yeah. So you know it. Yeah, you know it firsthand. See the absolute waste of resources.
Yeah, definitely. But the ambulances, they do what they can. We were camping with some Indians, Mohawk, just outside of Bala once, and it was.
I know Bala.
Yeah,
very well.
There's a reserve just outside of Bala.
The Wata territory.
Wata, yeah.
Yeah.
And, there used to be a campground there, and we used to camp and drink with the locals, with the natives there. And one night we're sitting around. It was about 2:33 in the morning, and this faint noise went off in the distance. And one of the Indians says, "Oh, there goes another car off the highway." And it looked really quiet, he says it. And we go, "What? What? Huh? What did you say, man?" He said, "Another car went off the highway." And we went, "Really? So maybe we should do something about this." And he goes, "You wanna?" And I said, "Yeah, let's go." So we hopped in my van. We went up to the main highway. We took us a little while to find the guy. He ended up down a ravine and then up the other side of it. Hard to describe. But he flipped his car a few times, and he was by himself. And we didn't have cell phones at that time. So we had to, we left one of our guys, and we drove back to the Indian Reserve and went to the chief's house and used the chief's phone. And it took, it was about 40 minutes before an ambulance came. They were at a boating accident a few miles north, but a big double boat accident, and all the ambulances were taken up there. Mm-hmm. So we waited with the guy, and then when the ambulance came, we helped tape the guy onto the board and all that, and carry him down the ravine and into the back of the ambulance. Cops never showed up that night. They didn't show up until the next day when the tow truck came to pull the junker out.
They waited to the next day to pull it out, eh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
But what got me was if that indigenous fella didn't say anything, You know, if he just would have kept that one little comment to himself, he
Yeah.
barely said it too.
Yeah.
That guy might have, who knows what happened out there.
I'm amazed he was right. You know,
Yeah. Well, he hears it all the time.
I guess
Um,
so. That's crazy. I had no idea it happened that frequently. But
yeah, Highway 69, just
oh yeah, I'm very familiar with that. Yeah.
right before Go Home Lake Road.
Yep. That's the exit that I get off at.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. When I
Cool.
go, we've had a family cottage there for forever. It's owned by like 15 people together because it's so expensive to own anything up there.
Yeah, I know. It's beautiful country, though.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fantastic.
We, when they closed that uh, campground down in Bala,
Hmm.
we were talking to the chief one day. It was a female, and she told us about a great spot of crown land just a little north on the Moon River.
I
When
know.
you
Yeah. My uncle used to have a cottage on Moon River.
Right. When you're across the Moon River on Highway 69, there's a little dirt road just on, I don't know if it's still there even, that's just on your right away left. As soon as you cross the river bridge, it's on your left. You take that down, boom, 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 boom. You go down, and then you're all in Crown Land. And a riverbank camping as much as you want.
I wonder if it's still there.
Yeah, I wonder too.
Yeah.
This was
Interesting.
this would have been the 80s,
Yeah. I was going to say 80s.
Oh, no, this would have been 1992, 93.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But nice country up there. Used to love going up there.
One sec. I can still hear you. Hold on. Sorry about that.
No props.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It puts time into perspective when you're talking about something 32 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Some things are still vivid in your mind,
Oh,
though.
absolutely. I know it's weird how that happens, but yeah, it's. I mean, so you've definitely had experience with maybe that side of life, and it's interesting. The most interesting thing to me is how people react, right? People's reactions to certain things, and that's what people's reactions to things, and then how you can affect it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too into that topic or into maybe some darker topics on this, but
Yeah.
it's it's interesting to see where people's minds go and when and what you can do to help them, and sometimes you can't help them at all. And
In panic situations, you mean, like you
yeah, just people reacting to different types of shock, and
right.
it's
There's
amazing the array with which reactions come through. Like the spectrum is so wide.
I always thought it was just major two groups. The
Oh,
A-type
interesting.
group that sort of take hold of the situation, assess it, and do what's the
Hmm.
most logical approach, and then the B group that sort of doesn't know what to do and
Yeah.
doesn't handle it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I was more referring to the people that we'd be responding to. You know, like if
Lost a limb or something like that.
something like that, yeah, or a bad fall, or something happened to their kid, or something's happening to their dad, or they
Right,
found a relative or whatever. It's always interesting. Some people, you're like, you're this person's son, and they're totally calm, cool, and collected. You're like, yep. And you wonder if they're just calm all the time, or if it's really going to hit them the next day, you know.
right.
And
Yeah.
um yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean because I've always been pretty good in panicky sort of situations.
Yeah, you seem like a calm guy, for
And
sure.
it never really hits me the next day. I mean, when you have a chance to think about anything, you
Hmm.
play it maybe a few times, but
Hmm.
you know, I think that um, it's all of that whole thing to of standing up to your fears and facing them head on. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how much it changes your, like, my reactions to things in daily life. Like all of a sudden things aren't that big of a deal in terms of Oh God, I don't know.
Life.
Family deaths will always hit you on a personal note, but like,
Mhm.
things don't seem as urgent, I guess, in your day to day stuff. Like
When you
it's just
trauma in other people's lives, you mean? Is that what you
yeah. I mean, when you're going to that kind of stuff, it and it's important to keep a separation because the effect that it can have on your life is can be quite detrimental, right?
That's going to be my next question to you. Do
Yeah.
you like you go? Is there some shit that you see that you go home and you just can't get it out of your mind?
Firsts. So like my first guy that I responded to that we worked on trying to get him back, it wasn't particularly crazy compared to the other stuff that I've gone to. It's just the first of that type of call, a VSA or a vital signs absent call. Like that was a weird one. That just sticks in. And then there's your first kid call, and always animal calls will stick with me.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Like those are
kids
we
and
went
animals,
to
for sure.
we went to we went to a house on a street called Duke Street in Brantford, and there was a fire there, and we pulled up to the fire, and I was like, this place looks familiar. And anyways, about 6 weeks before that, this house left like a pot on the stove, and so we got called there because I think it was someone saw smoke coming out of a window, and so we got there. Luckily, we got there in time, and and the owners had just kind of like gone out to buy cigarettes and left something on the stove or whatever, and so we go in, we're somewhat stern with them. Listen, don't do this. You've got animals here. I see that you've got kids' toys around. Like, just kind of be more present, whatever. Um,
Yeah.
we're going around opening all the windows, and that one stuck in my head particularly well because my hand brushed up against a used condom, which was lovely.
Oh,
And then, yeah, my captain found that rather hilarious. And
yeah.
then, anyways, yeah, and so then 6 weeks later, we got called to a full-on structure fire. We're going, and I was like, oh, fuck, this Duke Street. Like, okay, I've seen this house before, whatever. It was the
No.
same house. They did the same thing.
Ah.
And we go in, and then so they had 2 cats and 2 dogs.
Uh,
The cats didn't make it.
uh,
The one of the it's so sad. The dogs were yeah, I won't get too into detail, but one of the dogs had, I don't
my,
think it was.
my viewers love this stuff.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, it's if you don't think that your animals know the way out, they can do it blindfolded, man. They are incredible. They can smell fresh air from a mile away. They know exactly where the screen window is. They know exactly where the open window is. They
Yes,
are
that's,
incredible, man. The way that they absorb information is absolutely incredible. And so the benefit of that to us is that, well, other than us not knowing the layout of the house, they're almost always right by the door.
right.
Always right by the door, pretty much, because that's their way out.
Yep.
Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, the 2 cats didn't make it. One of the dogs was alive. The other dog was, I can't remember if he had no vital signs or if, I think he was like right on the edge, like not conscious. Like we dragged this dog out, you know what I mean? And then there's a special type of resuscitation that you can do with pets. It takes
Right.
a different type of equipment, and we
Right.
were working on this guy or on this dog for, it was like a Roddy mix maybe, and then we got him back, luckily. And then they just hand him right, like they go to the vet, and then they just hand him right back to the owner. Like, I'm like I was just here 6 weeks ago. And so like that kind of stuff really irritates me, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Same stupid mistake. Who knows how many times they did that, and one close call, and then one time it finally cost them dearly.
yeah, absolutely. And it's not fair to anybody, really, right? And yeah, most of the fires that we go to are just negligence, right? Falling asleep with a cigarette in their hand, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Pot
Hey,
on a stove.
you'd be proud of me. I ran into a smoky house once.
Did you?
Yeah, we were coming back from the buffet, Chinese buffet, and we were
Mhm.
walking, and there was a house with a whole bunch of smoke billowing out the windows. So I ran, and Kathy stayed behind, and I ran to the door and went in, yelled a few times, ran in, saw a lot of smoke in the kitchen, ran down the hallway, yelled, saw the bedroom doors were open, figured out that there was nobody home, and I got the hell out of there.
Wow.
I didn't go into the kitchen and try and
What
put
was
the
visibility like?
just smoke. There was no flames. It was bad visibility though. You couldn't like
Yeah.
mostly the kitchen and the front hallway were
Wow.
really, really bad as soon as you came in.
Yeah.
Contracting over the years, I've been in units where we're completely burnt out before. I've seen some of the shit that is after the fact, because we've treated before with special treatments, the studs and whatever's left, and whatever that is deemed that they can build onto again. And it's a haunting, eerie feeling to walk into a burnt out, let's say condominium, uh,
Mhm.
completely burnt out, that badly burnt in a fire.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's amazing to see how structures hold up, what holds up and what doesn't, what burns and what doesn't, how stuff burns and how
Yeah,
like what stays. Um yeah, it's definitely it's a weird world sort of deal that you know, take a
I
step
guess.
into a world that you don't normally see, which I think is a privilege, but you know,
Well, for you guys, I guess I'm saying firemen and first uh, responders. You guys, I guess, study all this shit, and that's you spend more time on the job. You learn about all this stuff
it's
more.
more on the job learning, I'd say, like the schooling to do fire. It's applicable, of course, but it more just gives you a foundation. It doesn't really go into specifics of things. And every
Yeah,
department does things differently.
you know, I've only seen one smoked up once, but I saw a couple of them in Etobicoke. They have those houses. I don't know
Hmm.
if they're still making them anymore. That they light on fire and you
Yeah.
guys do drills in.
Yeah, so there's two things that people do, or two things that organizations do. One is a more of a public education thing where the classic one is you light up something with a dry Christmas tree, and then you see the couch light up, and then you see this light up, and you use just to see how fast a room will go, especially with newer materials that are mostly polyester and plastic based as opposed to cotton and wool.
Right.
Um, so that's one thing. Obviously, like then you throw water on it, you put it out in 2 seconds. But then there's the other thing that are burn buildings, which are usually a bunch of sea cans put together. And it's like a not a maze. They don't try to trick you. They lay it out in the way that a house likely would be laid out.
Right.
In one end, you put a bunch of hay bales. You're not really supposed to burn like gross stuff, like things with glue lam in it, like plywood. You don't want to do because it's just gross.
Yeah.
And that's way more cancer causing than just burning hay or burning
Oh shit. The
um,
glues and the
uh,
chemical treatments.
yeah. So you'll throw a bunch of hopefully organic material and burn that, like woods, pure woods, which not everybody does because it's expensive to do that, so people just burn anything.
Yeah.
And you go on air, and sometimes there's visibility, sometimes there's not, and you just run different drills. Sometimes the captain will say, you know, there's two cars in the driveway, it's 3 a.m. Okay, there's likely two people in a bedroom somewhere, you know. And I always not in those drills, but I went to a house fire once on New Year's Eve, and it was I was with a crew that are very laid back, and we go in the front door, and I think we had one crew going in the back door, one crew going in the front door. We were going in the front, and the captain that I was with is an absolute clown, and uh so they're two in front of me. I'm shoving hose inside. So there's only three people that go in, a captain and two firefighters. And so I go in, and it's a small house. It's totally you can't see fuck all. You can't see anything. It's and um and I walk in and I kick a dog bowl, And I'm like, okay, that's what I'm doing now. So I hook my foot around the hose so you don't lose where you are, and then I'm feeling under furniture. Luckily, there was nothing there, but
Right.
all I hear is my captain say hit it, as in like give it the full amount of water, and then the other guy's like, I can't see anything. Hit what? And this captain, the clown guy, is
Yeah.
particularly ambitious, and he was in front of the hose line, which is just a weird thing to do. Normally, like everyone's behind the hose line, and so the
Right.
guy's like, okay, like I'll hit it, and he just opens the bail, blows
Uh,
the captain's helmet off, it shoots to the other side of the house, and then it was just
oh,
such a
wow.
like, now he's on his hands and knees looking like, it was, we knew that no one was in there at that point, so it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's different fires have very different atmospheres to them depending on what the situation is. So like there's not always the,
Sure.
but
It's all a
it's
puzzle.
mostly comical. It's mostly funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God you can look at it that way because
Oh, you have to. I mean, yeah, there's things that you got to look at things in that way anyways, and yeah, but I don't
that's
know.
yeah, that's pretty funny though to have um and so that's what you do. You hook your foot around the hose.
That was just what I did in the moment. Like like you can do other you can do other techniques, but it's basically just don't get lost.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
no one's watching you. Like, just don't be an idiot.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
stay close to people, stay in verbal contact or stay in visual contact if anything, and just do what you got to do, I guess.
How
But
much gear are you carrying when you go
it's
into
about
a
80 pounds. So you've got your oxygen tank, which is not pure oxygen, it's just condensed air, and that's supposed to be what's called a 45-minute bottle.
right?
Um, and if you're working, it'll probably last you 10 to 12 minutes.
Oh wow.
So you've got that, and then you've just got your gear and in pockets. You've got multi tools. You've got you should be bringing some sort of larger tool into a fire with you, like a pickaxe or something like that. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, not a lot of people do that. It just depends on the situation. Everything it's different every time. But
I think I'd want an axe.
yeah, me too. It's
One of
handy.
those
It's just
ones
heavy and awkward.
you pick on one end, the good sharp blade on the other.
Yeah, get through a wall if you have to. Get out
Yeah.
of a window if you have to. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Definitely. Just a quick sidetrack here. When I was living out in Alberta, we were couple one. Oh, actually, this is when I visited first time I went out, and we were my brother and his buddies were working the oil rigs, and they would have a week on, a week or 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and they would all stay at these houses that they rented, and it was on a street that they were condemning, so they were slowly moving them from house to house, and they as they condemned the houses, they would rent another one, and they would hold these sledgehammer parties, and they would take some LSD, drink a bunch of beer, and take sledgehammers to the inside of these houses. And I inspected one of these houses after my brother and his crazy drug infused buddies went through it, and they did some amazing stuff with uh, axes and
Yeah.
sledgehammers. I mean, going from upstairs to down. You could one part I looked from the. They made it a project so you could look from the bedroom upstairs all the way to the basement. It's all 3 floors or whatever it was.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. Anyways, that was a sidetrack, but I know the
Yeah. Oh,
damage.
that's all right. Yeah. Loads of stories in you.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing though that um, that you're how long have you been a fireman for?
4 years now.
And how long
Just
did you have to study to become one?
it depends. Some programs are 2 years. Some are a sped up program. So I did a sped up program because I was, Usually, people that do the 2-year program are like just out of high school or something like that, and then they apply for 10 years. I already had a career before this, and then I just wanted to get into that relatively quick. So it took me about 8 months to do the schooling and the boot camp and all that stuff, and then you just start applying.
Huh.
Yeah.
Boot camp, eh?
Yeah, it's not as intense as it seems. Like they wake you up a bunch to try to simulate stuff in the middle of the night, and they call you out, which is probably the worst part. But
Yeah.
fitness wise, it's like, you know, I won't say that. It's challenging, but it's everybody passes it. You know.
Yeah. Usually, if you want to go into that field, I think you usually keep yourself in half decent shape in the beginning, anyways, don't you?
Yeah, emphasis on in the beginning.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. Usually people let themselves go pretty hard after about year 12.
yeah, I can see that happening. But they must have some sort of standards that
Nope, zero standard.
really,
There's no ongoing standard. We kind of fought for it a little bit.
yeah,
The union kind of won't allow it for job security reasons.
right.
It's not as bad as I make it seem. Like you'll definitely have people that are huffing and puffing after going up a couple flight of stairs with the gear on, but
Hmm.
there's really only probably 5 people out of 130 that have like really let themselves go. You
Yeah.
know? So
But you're firemen. I mean, you guys go up and down flights of stairs carrying 2 people and a dog sometimes.
yeah. I mean, adrenaline will usually kick in by that point for anybody,
Right.
I guess.
Yeah.
And then they'll have a heart attack later once they get down to
Yeah.
the back to the truck.
Shit, yeah. I know. I mean, you look at, you don't, like, Toronto has a pretty good police force.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't see any fat Toronto, not too many, really
Yeah, not too
overweight,
many.
like
I
the
think
New
that
York City police. I've seen some pictures of New York City cops, and yes,
I think I
excuse me.
left my earbuds in the washroom. I don't think I put them back in the case.
Okay, I'll look after it.
They're on the ledge in the washroom.
Okay. Sorry, Jordan.
that's all right. Yeah, no, like you're definitely gonna have there's definitely people that are more committed to fitness than others, and just like anything in life, whether it's like you pay more attention to things that are in front of you more. So a lot of the times, like in the police force, there's so many jobs in policing, like within policing, that don't require you to be out on the road. So they can be desk jockeys or whatever it may be. They could be just at the station doing administration work, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Dispatcher.
Yeah, it could be a dispatcher. Usually that's a separate job, but it definitely is. Like we have to dispatch a little bit as well, which is annoying, but it is what it is.
Hmm.
Yeah. So what when you do these interviews, do you usually focus on just like life of the person that you're talking to? Do you kind of answer questions yourselves, or you let it kind of go where it goes?
I had the first time I did one, I had a script,
Yeah.
and I with a bunch of questions, and then that went out that same evening. I stopped doing that, and then now I'm pretty well. It's I put some pre-thought into it during the day, and I just wing it. Like
I
tonight,
think that's the best way to do it.
yeah, I think I kind of know you pretty good already just
Hmm.
from us hanging out, and I knew that the basic without the basics were to start asking you questions,
Hmm.
but I don't really have a format, and
Yeah.
depends who the person is too. I mean, I try and keep it mostly musically inclined.
Yeah.
Uh, Betsy
What do
Bailey.
you find your audience prefers, the musically inclined stuff, or do they kind of
I,
hang on for whatever?
I haven't really pooled, or I don't really know.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't done that many of them. I've been doing this for about 3 years, and I haven't done that many interviews. I've had guests on before and at panels and such, but I just more recently started. having a regular guest for the evening,
Hmm.
and I like doing it. It's
Yeah, that's really cool.
yeah, it is. The possibilities are endless too. Like I'm
Yeah.
not talking about the piano tonight, but we could be trading licks and discussing aspects of songs or whatever. I know the people on the sidetrack chat, they like that sort of stuff. They tune
The,
in and they
yeah.
discuss it also. And yeah,
Very cool.
for
Well,
sure. I
cool.
mean, yeah, I think what I did want to ask you though, uh, you never really told me how long have you been playing the guitar for?
Um,
How did that start for you?
I think like every male guitar player, they start playing because they think that it's going to get them attention from females, and
Ah,
then that turns out to be the last thing that I want.
right. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I started when I was in grade 6, and then I had a teacher that kind of taught me um, the entire ACDC Back in Black album, and then he just loved ACDC, and then after that, I think I was just kind of self-taught after that, and I don't really remember how I learned certain things, or because YouTube wasn't, I don't remember. I don't remember how I learned things or whatever it might have been. But
Yeah.
and then I took a long break for probably about 5 years in there where I don't even know if I touched it, to be honest. And in the last 2 years, I see Jennifer asked, "Is he married?" So I'm in the process of a divorce, unfortunately, right now. I do have one kid, but when my marriage started to sort of deteriorate a little bit, probably two and a bit years ago, I was still playing quite a bit before that, but I think I was tricking myself into thinking that I was half decent, and I was really just ignoring the things that I wanted to work on, which I know that every kind of person in music goes through. And then once the stress of that sort of, actually no, it was about probably about 3 years ago, and then I really kicked it up. Like I learned more in the last 3 years than I have in, oh god, probably my entire time. Like
Yeah.
I will sit there and I will watch live concerts of two or three artists, and I will just study their left hand and like what are they doing and why does that work, and okay that brings me, so I've been obsessed with it really. um
Hey, I understand that totally because I love electric guitar and I watch them all. I YouTube videos, I soak it all up. And
yeah, what a
guitar,
resource, eh? What a resource to have now.
oh yeah, it is amazing.
It's incredible.
I
Yeah.
wish I had it in my younger career. I probably would have done more music had I had YouTube because I would have studied it more back then.
Hmm.
We didn't have anything but the odd video.
Yeah.
And later came MTV in the
Yeah.
90s. But like when I was a kid in the 60s and 70s, we didn't have very much to watch rock music with. There was
Hmm.
a heck of a lot. So you know now with this, I've probably watched so much YouTube in the last few years that I know I am. I'm watching a lot of the things for the second, third, fourth time.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Like it when you approach something with the intention of learning and you have the drive to learn it, and sometimes I've found, unfortunately, the motivation to better yourself through whatever avenue you choose usually comes out of hard times, right?
It can, yeah.
And at least for me, that's where it came from. And I'm as you know a little bit about my situation, Mark, but
Mhm.
the difficulty of certain life situations, if it doesn't result in valuable things emerging from it, whether it's just as simple as a lesson learned or as obsessive as learning a fretboard and memorizing certain things and having things stick in and obsessively performing live because you're not afraid of anything anymore, like kind of what we talked before.
Hmm?
Something good coming out of something not
Every
so good
crowd,
is kind of the one blessing that, or the one choice that we have in when hardships kind of fall into our laps, whether we caused it or not, or who knows. But
yeah, it's good to find the goodness in everything, especially the shittier circumstances, that something good comes out of your
absolutely, yeah.
ordeal.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a
I find practicing is like that. I'll have a week of great, like I'll absorb so much stuff, and then I'll have a week of just slugging it out. I don't feel like even doing it, and then I'll do it. I'll slug it out. I'll
mhm.
still do some scales and go through my routines, and then I'll have another great week after that.
But do you find that when you force yourself to do it, you end up getting the same dopamine hits that you would have if you feel like practicing anyways? Or do you feel like that practice that you force yourself to do is just dog shit in the end anyways? Like, do you just feel like it was something that you forced yourself to do, like a bad workout? Like, oh, at least I showed up to the gym. Like, is it something like that? Or do you find that you
Well,
benefit the same amount? Or
a big part of it is your brain and what your brain is doing. Not
yeah,
only when you're not playing, not only when you're playing, but when you're not playing and when you're sleeping. I
yeah,
think your head still works on a certain part of a lot of these. Like you'll be thinking about that
absolutely.
song, and I think it's one of those things that if you expose yourself at least a little to it, you're still going to be picking something up. You're still going to be, learning something. And
There, yeah.
you,
There's an. I'm going to interrupt you there because there's an incredible study that was done. I can't remember what year it was, but it has to do with solidifying learned behavior in sleep. So
uh,
people took lab mice and they ran them through a complicated maze, and that maze required obstacles and all that. It was basically designed so I believe, and I'm hoping I'm not butchering this, that it was basically designed so that it wouldn't be solved in the first day.
right.
Um, so then they took the mice out of it. They have electrodes all hooked up to their brain or whatever. They put them in their own habitat or their own cage or whatever you want to call it,
Mm,
and the electrodes stayed hooked up to the learning centers in their brain. And what they found was that, and this has been repeated, what they found was that during REM sleep, so the rapid eye movement sleep,
mm.
that behavior that they learned was repeated through neurons. I think it was 300 to 500 times the speed that it happens when you're awake. So
Oh,
it goes ba 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 over and over again. New neuronal connections are being made. All these
yeah,
things are being made, which is why sleep is so important, right? Good night's sleep before an exam or whatever, before whatever.
right.
And it is impossible to learn, put that away and come back to it tomorrow. It's all these old mantras that hold very true. So when you're talking
Yeah,
about that's one of my favorite studies that because it just emphasizes how important sleep is, and
yeah,
exactly as you're saying, just expose yourself to it. Even if you're having trouble doing it, go to sleep, try it the next day. You're always better at it. You are always better at it. So
yeah.
yeah, it's yeah,
It's true, folks.
definitely
Dougie
it
Doug,
is.
how you doing? Um, I think that I don't get enough sleep usually, and
Hmm.
that might be. I do notice how amazing I feel when I do get a full night's sleep. For me, is about 5 hours. If I get
Yeah, you were
that,
telling me that's wild.
I feel amazing. I th-
Yeah,
I I think better. I have a better day. Everything. So I
totally.
mean, I like getting the sleep. It's just I don't like taking the time to do it. I got
Yeah,
some, I got better things to do.
yeah,
I
I
hate to
know.
say it that way.
Absolutely, I totally
Seems
understand
that
that.
way.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a frustrating thing to not really be. comatose tired, but then force yourself to go to bed.
They want me to go for a sleep study,
Mm,
but I won't. I'll go there and I'll be awake all
yeah,
night. I
yeah,
won't. I know. I already know. I'll
yeah,
be.
exactly. I
Uh,
know.
you. Oh, I guess with your job, you guys have to do overnight shifts sometimes,
We
and
always do that. Every shift is a 24-hour shift. So
it is. Oh, okay.
yeah,
Oh, okay. So you have your bunks and everything. Do you sleep for as well? I guess not in your bunk at work than you do at home.
no, definitely not as well. But it depends whether you're at a slower station or a fast station. If you're at a busy hall, then you're almost expecting calls to come in, even if they don't. So it you're like on edge. Um,
Hmm.
Sleeping in enemy territory almost. But like
Yeah.
if you're at a slow haul like I was yesterday, yeah, I mean I went to bed at 11 or something like that. We had a call at 12:30 to 1:30, and then I went back to bed and I slept probably as good as I would have if I were at home.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That would that one call. I'd be up. I would consider that my 1.5 hour sleep. All I'm getting for that night, because after I got back from that call, I would have already been into a coffee by then, a couple
yeah,
of smokes maybe, and
that's right.
I would have, I'd be up. Might as well play the piano or something, or write some
Yeah.
lyrics.
Yeah.
Do you ever, do you do, I never asked you, do you do lyrics?
I do, yeah. Sometimes I do them all at once. When I do, I'll write a full song in 15 minutes.
Ah,
One of
start,
those when it hits, it hits.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because,
I've got about 11 or 13 songs.
oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
when we finally get together and have a jam, so a one-on-one live jam session, we'll have to explore a couple of them. I got a couple too. Most of mine are melodies that I've been working on.
Yeah, I'd love to hear them.
Yeah. I'm good at coming up with melodies with songs. I'm just shitty with lyrics. My lyrics are all rain in Spain and moon in June kind of lyrics.
Yeah. Well, you gotta sometimes those are the best sounding ones.
Nah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Mine. Or they sound like a Frank Zappa song.
Yeah.
I'll start. I'll get into something like that. So the other thing I did want to, I wanted to, when we get into, we'll be getting into choosing another group of songs after we finish with this Battle of the Bands thing. Um, and we're going to all have our say. And I wanted to make sure that we heard, like, we've been mostly playing these older songs, 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Hmm.
But what are some of the other songs that you like to play when you're like just you with your acoustic guitar at home?
That's a really good question. It's all over the place, really, as I'm sure it is with you. I mean, sometimes I'll go through phases, and right now I'm in a complex guitar phase where I like either making things a little bit harder than they have to be, or learning more complicated things, but not doing exactly like how it was recorded. I can't. I don't like doing that.
Yeah,
Um, but like um, a lot of the time, it's like Marcus King stuff,
oh,
or I am a sucker for like John Mayer stuff. Is more bluesy stuff. Everything after kind of
he's a good guitarist.
2006. He's incredible. He's and people think that he's a body of or what is that song? Your body's a wonderland kind of guitarist, and he is, um, but he is he takes what is relatively simple and makes it incredibly difficult to replicate. Um, and he's one of the better lyricists right now, and but so it'll go back and forth. Like I'll play Uncle Cracker's Drift Away, and
Right.
then I'll listen to a song that my sister sent me, like a Shawn Mendes song. Like there's a song called Isn't That Enough, which is incredibly simple. It's like it's C, A over B, and then A minor 7.
How does it go?
And that's oh, you want me to sing it?
Yeah. It's just a bar or so.
How's the sound? What's the sound like here?
Pretty clear.
Okay, let me. Sweet. Oh, do I find that note? There it is. Sweet is the song. Warm is the rain. June is the month. Free is the day. My head's still shaking. My mind's still racing. My heart's still breaking in two. I'm still raging. My breath stays patient. My mother still calls for the news. Isn't that enough? Isn't that enough? Isn't that enough? Anyways, you get the idea.
Very nice. Yeah, that's. I can see why you like that.
So it's very different in terms of like that first note's weird because it starts on a C, but it's not a C note, it's a B note. So this is B. Or it's a B minor, it starts on. But it starts, the first note's a C note, which I find a really interesting
Combination,
right?
yeah.
Sweet is the sun. It's just really pretty. I don't know. So like I'll do that and then I'll obviously play let the foreign aeroplane stay on a fast train. You know that, like, so it's like very different sort of
Completely different.
yeah, so I jump all over the place, and I'd imagine you're probably similar too from the stuff that you've sent me.
Yeah, I like a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I try it all, and it's mostly I'll hear something in the morning, and I'll be making a recording of it in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And
Are
then,
you able to, do you think that we'd be able to play something together now, or do you think the audio is going to cut each other out?
it will cut each other out. We'll look really bad.
Oh, will it? Okay.
Yeah, we tried this before. Me and Bimbo tried it once before she passed away,
Oh,
and she had her bass note, and I had my piano, and we were all over the map.
yeah. So
It's a latency thing. It'll be jumbled.
right. I could hear myself coming back when I got a little. I was trying to stay quiet with it because I could hear myself coming back a little bit.
Yeah, echo.
Through you, but yeah.
I have it on through speakers, and then the speakers. I'm surprised I don't get more echo, but I get a half decent sound somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's but you seem to have done pretty well with, doing the whole tech thing. It better than I could have done for sure.
Well, it's just thrown together. It's but it works. I mean, there's nothing really One thing I started doing with this show is I've been showing music videos, and I want to make a few more music videos. Hey, maybe we can do one.
I've never been a music video guy.
No, all you have to do is strum the guitar.
Okay.
You strum, and then we'll do one of my songs.
And then you dance?
Yeah, and I know I'm the monkey. I'm the, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that Easy Street with Jen said turn off echo cancellation. Didn't we try this before?
Yeah, it works. Yeah, I do. I
Oh,
have
we
to
did it.
turn it off before I play piano on here. Otherwise, it just turns into a big echo chamber.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to do that. Oh, wait, audio.
Yeah,
Echo
you go
cancellation. I think it's already on.
and then you turn it off.
You want to off? Echo cancellation off?
Yeah, so it's not lit. Do the opposite of what you found there,
Oh, okay. Well,
and
I
you'll
just
get
did
better
that.
results. But you have to remember to put it back on because later on you'll find that your vocals, your voice, when you're trying to talk to somebody, will get all fucked up.
So it's off. It's off right now.
Is that how you found it?
No, I did the opposite of what I found.
Okay, well, make sure you put it back the way it was at one point.
Mhm.
How's it sound?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of playing electric through this audio interface because it makes it sound so thin.
Yeah, it's sort of like stripped down, eh?
Yeah, I wonder if maybe I'll take out the. I might switch to an acoustic. I know we probably don't got a ton of time left, but I'm more curious to hear what it sounds like. Hold on.
Yeah, sure, no problem, man. Asking, how tall is Jordan? Asking for a friend, eh, Jennifer? Oh, what did you take a sleeping pill for? That means you got to go to sleep.
Very thin. Gotta mic it up.
That's louder than your electric was.
Turn it way down. Might be better without the. It's better. You hear that? You hear that at all?
Oh, yeah. Sounds good.
Oh, there you go.
How long have you had that guitar for?
Oh God, this one I've had for. This is the first nice guitar I bought.
Huh?
I've had it for. It's a 2011.
Hmm.
It's a Martin OM, and
Nice.
it's probably the nicest thing I own.
Yeah, Martin's are nice guitars.
Yeah. Can you hear that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything like that? Switching from acoustic to electric or electric to acoustic in the guitar world, is there anything like that in piano, where the instrument that you're playing, even though it's still a piano, makes you want to play differently?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Huge.
What would that be? What's the equivalent?
Well, for me, it's with that piano you see I bring my Yamaha that I bring to the rehearsals. It's a flick of a switch. I'll go from piano, grand piano, to electric piano, Fender Rhodes. You play it different.
Wow.
You play an electric piano differently than you play a grand piano or whatever. Just like you play an organ differently than any of them.
I guess so. Yeah.
So
I guess
yeah,
so. Yeah. It's there's a song that I wanted to try with you called oh my god, Born and Raised. Um it is a mayor song or whatever, but
born
it's
and raised.
it's G to a B minor 7, G B minor 7 F C.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then the chorus is uh E minor G C.
Oh okay.
It's a really really pretty sort of is that too loud?
No, it's fine. Huh.
I like the cadence of it,
Ma-
and it's I find it to be a really nice song. Um, and then it's the chorus. Yeah,
hmm.
it's a really pretty. There's so many songs that I want to do with you, like that. That's so gone now, right?
Yeah,
Wish me anything that you change. Such a pretty, you know.
yeah.
I love that song so much.
It wasn't. I had to give it a couple of listens to, and it was probably the second or third time I was listening to it that I really got the song, and
Mhm.
the way he sings it too. The first
Oh,
time he says "so" and "gone now," and at the end of the chorus, and you can tell that the guy was feeling what he was saying.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
Really went,
It's such a pretty song, and like I feel like the piano on it makes it that much better.
I found a couple of versions on YouTube, piano accompaniment. There's a couple.
There's a version of it. Um, there's a version of it that he's playing with a stand-up bass and a guy on a piano on a grand piano,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's I think that might be the one that I sent you. It's not the greatest quality, but man, is it pretty.
Yeah,
For anybody that's wondering, Matt Anderson is a guitar player and vocalist from I believe Nova Scotia,
right.
and I think his website is like stubbyfingers.ca because he's a rather large man, and he has a song called "So Gone Now," which is I think the prettiest song I've ever heard, really. And
Mm,
I don't know, everything's gonna resonate with you differently and all that stuff. So
sure, it'll have take on a different sort of feel, but
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what we can do with it.
yeah. That's too bad that it'd be nice to play with you now, but I'll trust you that the sound won't work, eh?
It won't.
Okay.
It'll be all back and forth and echoey.
Even with my headphones?
And for the people, for you and I, it might sound close. I don't know, but for the people in the side chat listening at home, they will get a muffled mess.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, it's we'd have to be. I don't know how to do it. I'd have to try and work on that one and figure it out. The best way to do it is um, if we're in the same room together, or if we're
Mm,
hooked up with interfaces.
yeah. Plugged into the same one.
No, we could be actually if we. I wonder how you do that. I don't know. I'm new to this world of the audio interface. This is my first one, so I'm still figuring it all out. It's pretty interesting at this point. It's a lot of there's a lot of things that can go wrong. Like if you got a technical problem, there's a lot of stuff to go through to you get a good clean connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It was quite the process to set it up with Grant that day when we tried Jam Kazam for the first time.
Yeah,
It was
let's
a
see or whatever.
it was a crazy amount of time, but it works.
Yeah, it does. I wonder how we could do it on YouTube.
How it would be where?
How we would do it now on YouTube if we both hooked into our interfaces. I don't know. I'm thinking out loud, I guess. How could we have a jam right now? And I know maybe we'd have a chance if we both went into our interfaces. But
I'm going into mine right now.
I'm just thinking, how would we still have to hook our interfaces together?
You're the tech guy. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not the tech guy.
You are when I'm the only other one in the room.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know, Jordan. But we should get, well, anytime that you and I want to do something, we just get a to them and we one of the studios.
Yeah.
Like we did the other day, only we didn't get the video working. I was on there today seeing if I could figure that out.
Yeah, it would have been cool, but I mean, it was a good first attempt. It worked fine.
Yeah, with the Google chat. Let me see. What did we do? We did our audio through Jam Kazam, and we did the
video through Google Meet.
Google Meet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. So that you listen to a lot of John Mayer and
I listen to a lot of his like improvisation stuff. I don't listen to a lot of his like because I already have. I've been through my years of listening to his recorded stuff, but
right.
I listen to a lot of I listen to a lot of his improv stuff.
Right.
Live concerts only and all that stuff and all that. A lot of Gary Clark Jr., a lot of like Stevie Ray Vaughan, and steal a lot of licks off of
Yeah, we're going to be doing that.
You can't really do it on an acoustic, but
we're going to be doing that Travis County song.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
When are we doing that?
Not for the show, but one of the first songs that we're going to do after the show.
Right.
It's going to be one of that song.
Yeah, Travis County took my picture. No, I didn't smile. I can't remember it. No, I didn't smile. County took my picture. I can't. I'm gonna butcher it. No, I said I was gonna be here. Yeah, that's what it is. Travis County took my picture, but no, I didn't smile. He said I was gonna be here for a pretty long while. So sometimes I'm walking down the street when I'm walking down the hall. They sound as on a kind of name. Oh, where you going, y'all? Oh, you put my hands in cuffs. Oh boy, she even locked me up. Oh, well, it was all a bluff, and you started taking all my stuff. Yeah, it's a good song.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a rock and roll song.
Yeah, it's I love, like, I don't even know what to call that because it's not blues. It uses a 1-4-5, but it uses a 1-4-5 in the non-traditional octaves, right? Like,
yeah, it's still at a rock and roll tempo. I call it rock and roll. Rock music.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I guess that is just rock. Would that be 70s rock, like 60s rock, really? That's the basis that it goes off of, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. But all the 60s and 70s rock carried the 1-3. Is it one? No, one. Yeah, 145.
Yeah,
Is that what that song is? 145.
it's a 145, but it's in the key of C.
So CFG.
But you know how 145 would be like 1 4 5, but instead of it goes 1 then to the 5, but it goes down,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and then like the 4 is where it's supposed to be, but then
Right.
the 5 it uses the octave below it, which it's really interesting.
Have you ever heard the song "Palace of the King" by Freddie King?
No.
It's takes a different sort of spin too on the 145 and adds a seventh, is it, or an eighth? I forget. Anyways, it's a really good song.
Mm.
"Palace of the King." Have
I'll
you
have to
ever?
look that up.
Yeah, it's Freddie King. Have you ever heard a song called "Bell Bottom Blues" by Eric Clapton?
Bell Bottom Blues. I'm sure I've come across it.
There's a pretty song, lyrics and melody wise.
I'm gonna have to look that one up.
If you want to hear a pretty song, a
Bell
really
Bottom
nice song.
Blues, eh? Yeah, I'll take a look.
It's one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. I'll take a look at that.
I like playing it, but I suck at singing it, so I don't even touch that one. I suck at everything I sing, but
I wouldn't say that. I like your voice, man. I think it's great.
Thanks, but if I could change my tone, I would.
Everybody could, or everybody would. You know?
Yeah, it's funny how you sound different to yourself, eh?
I hate the sound of myself. Can't stand it. Which actually brings me to a good point. I think that we should try Superstition in E flat just once. I listened to a recording of me doing it, and I feel like I struggle too much with that E.
All right.
But we'll try it out.
For me, it doesn't matter. And I think that for everybody else, they just want to hear one either way, but they just want a decision, and we got to stick to it. So let's take that decision and stick to it after this rehearsal.
Yeah.
It's easier to sing in an E flat. I mean, for sure, it's going to be that much easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that the chorus part, like, it's fine to do the superstition, like that part's fine, but then when you go to the chorus, you believe in things that you don't understand. It's like there's too much struggle in there, and I think it'll sound better if we bring it down a half step to where they originally play it. But yeah, we'll try that tomorrow.
They originally played it in E flat.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
So you wanted a D?
No. Keep it in E flat.
Okay, yeah. I prefer to play it in E flat. It doesn't sound right to me in an E.
All right, we'll do it tomorrow then. We'll irritate Grant.
After listening to it for so many years in an E flat and then playing it in an E, it just sounds, I don't know, it doesn't sound right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm really picky about that, though.
Yeah.
I make it a study every day to make sure that I heard songs that they originally were in, not down or key up.
I know. I do a point. I make it a point to do the same, to keep it as much as I can in that same key.
Because
for sure.
I'm sensitive to that. Everybody is. So, like, some people can pick it up right away and say, "Oh, that's not the right key. That's the original key."
Yeah.
Some people don't, but some people don't realize they realize, but they do realize. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I definitely know what you're saying.
So, it's one of those things. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to finally getting on the stage and doing this show.
I know. See how much it'll be really interesting. I hope tickets sell.
Yeah, me too. It's usually the fundraisers they do, but I hope we pack the place. What is it? 400? They're going to sell 400 tickets, is it?
That's what's listed. I can see how many have sold. It's not many.
No, really? How many?
5? No, it's more than that.
Yeah. Oh well, it'll get there. A lot of people. It's one of those things. That as the show gets closer, they'll start to buy them up. Trainwreck has a gig coming up on the 15th of March. Oh, did we lose you, Jordan?
No. I'm looking to see how many how many tickets are sold.
Oh, it actually says on the website, eh?
Yeah. If I go here, it's probably not many. Oh, they sold 40.
Oh, okay, that's not bad. It's
No.
still 2 months away.
Yeah.
A little less than 2 months away.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
Oh yeah.
If there's not things that other people want to hear, what I don't know. What do you usually do at this point?
With the show?
Yeah.
Um,
Is there like a how do you usually end it?
I take 3 or 4 shots of tequila, get massively drunk, and insult everybody.
All right, so let's start that now. You're gonna have to, yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah. I never really thought about it. Usually this is what happens. I play so many songs that YouTube police catch up to me, and
Yeah.
it goes black, and there's a message that says show suspended due to copyright violations.
Right.
And it usually stays black for about a minute and a half, and then I'm allowed to come back on again.
Right.
I've learned not to play more copyright music that night because I'll get a copyright strike. 3 strikes and they take your channel away.
Oh boy, yeah, you don't want to mess around with that.
No,
you don't want to mess around with that at all.
I try and be good about it, and I'll say goodnight to everybody. I'll play the closing song. I have a closing song, and call it a night.
Very cool.
That's basically what happens, and it happens conveniently at between 2.5 hours usually.
Wow.
When I'm tired, I've listened to my music for the night, and I can move on. You know, I haven't been doing it. I'm too busy lately. I haven't hardly been on and off. I was doing it on a night a week, sometimes 2 nights a week, and then I went a couple of weeks without doing it there. So it's been.
Well, I think it's really cool that you do this.
Yeah, I guess it's. Sometimes I think about it. It seems a little silly to me, but it doesn't stop me. I mean, it's.
No, it should never stop you. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, it's. You know, get a chance to chat about music to like-minded people, and you know, as you can see, you meet all kinds of people. Like a lot of the regulars that are here tonight I know these people from they come into Pirate Radio and hang out, and there's you know, you become you get to know them pretty good, and they give you requests and discuss the music, and it's interesting to me in the evening. I'm listening to music anyways. Might as well gab and talk about it, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, really cool. it's been fun being on here, and it's I appreciate you making room for a slot for me.
Yeah, I'm glad you came on, Jordan.
Yeah,
You
and we
have to
should.
come back again, and
Yeah, please. Yeah, anytime.
let's see how we can do it with the uh, uh, how we can both play. Let me work on that and
Yeah.
figure that out, and then
Hmm.
we'll come on and we'll trade some licks. We'll
Yeah, I
play
would
a
love that.
couple of
That'd be
songs.
pretty sweet.
That would be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll figure
it's
that out.
always fun playing with you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we don't. We got a little taste of it the other day, but
Yeah,
time can just fly when you're doing stuff like
doesn't
that.
it? Eh? I know. Like we've been on here for an hour 40,
Yeah,
right? So and we've barely been playing.
yeah. Well, this is just gabbing. But
Yeah.
I've wanted to gab with you for some time now
Yeah.
because, like I said, we don't really get a chance to do it to shoot the shit very
No,
much.
no, and we barely scratched the surface today.
Yeah, that's true.
Hmm.
So thanks for coming on. Actually, do you want to hear my outgoing song? It's
Absolutely.
okay. This is I played with these guys a few times. It's a local band called uh, oh man, Saigon Pharmacy, and it's the leader is a guy named Jake Bond. He's the singer, guitar player, writer of all the music, and the main guy.
Hmm.
And this song of his is called Jet Setter's Blues.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I love it. He's got a pretty good voice.
Ain't no denying we got jet setters and nothing left but the
What key is that song in?
we're hanging
Never tried to play it, but
A minor.
jet setters blues.
Yeah, A minor.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
A lot of his songs is D E format. He does a lot of rockabilly and rhythm and blues songs. Thanks for hanging out, people in the side chat. Thank you for tuning in to Pirate Radio. Another bad episode. This was a good episode. Sorry.
I take zero offense.
Tune in again, where we'll do it all over again.
Absolutely.
Maybe next time we'll do it all over you. That's one of my every night I say that.
I like that. Oh yeah.
Great guys to jam with, these guys were, but they're the jam spot is a fire. It's a fire trap. That's why I'm hanging out with them. I mean, you go down a long, steep staircase, and it's a door that can be locked, so it only opens up. And there's only one door to the dungeon that's filled with the guy's gear. He's got PAs, he's got tons of gear. It's one claustrophobic room. And I could see death happening down there one day, so I stopped jamming with him.
Yeah.
I just couldn't handle it.
Wow.
That
Well,
was,
thank you so much, Mark, for having me on. Thank you for the people that stood by and listened. And
Hey, I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. Hang on a minute. We'll talk backstage quickly. I want
Okay.
to tell you something.
Yeah.
And thanks for tuning in to Pirate Radio, everybody. And I want to thank my special guest here, Jordan, for hanging out and telling us a little bit about himself and what he does. And thank everybody for tuning in to Pirate Radio. Bye, everybody.
Thank you guys.